So today, we're diving into a really powerful and, honestly, often misunderstood idea, the connection between a highly intelligent mind and, well, a small social circle. And we're going to see why this isn't some kind of social flaw, but actually a sign of something much, much deeper.
Have you ever been there? In a room full of people, everyone's laughing and chatting, but you feel completely and totally alone? It's a weird feeling, right? It's almost like you're speaking a totally different language, and nobody else seems to get it. And this, right here, is the core of what we're talking about today. That feeling, that loneliness. It's not a sign that you're broken or that you're antisocial. Nope. It's a sign that you are wired for depth in a world that, let's face it, often just skims the surface. It's a preference for meaning over just noise.
Okay, so let's get into the psychology of this a little bit. Society loves to slap a label on things, right? And people with just a few friends often get the loner tag, which is usually framed as something negative. But it's time to kind of flip that script and look at it through a whole new lens. And here is the absolute key distinction. For a lot of intelligent minds, having a small social circle isn't a failure to connect. It's a deliberate choice. Some evolutionary psychologists even suggest this goes way back, that our most intelligent ancestors, they didn't actually need a huge tribe to survive. They did better by focusing on long-term goals. So it's really about consciously creating an environment that actually stimulates you, instead of one that just drains you.
So why the preference for that smaller circle? Well, a huge part of the answer is found in conversation itself. For a mind that's always curious, there is a massive difference between just talking and truly connecting.
I mean, just think about the difference. Small talk, gossip, the weather, what you're doing this weekend. It's like conversational static. It fills the air, but there's no real substance there. Real talk, though, that's different. That's the good stuff. It's about ideas, theories, personal growth. It's the kind of conversation that actually feeds your mind. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Think of your mind as a muscle that is hungry for a real workout. It thrives when it's tackling complex problems or exploring new perspectives. The day-to-day gossip about other people, it just doesn't offer that same kind of intellectual nutrition.
Now, this whole thing goes way beyond just the conversations you have. It's also about your own personal evolution. See, highly intelligent people often have this really intense drive for growth, and that can completely change their social landscape over time.
And this is a constant process, right? You're absorbing new info, you're integrating new ways of seeing things, and before you know it, your entire worldview has shifted. So what's the natural result of that? You might just outgrow connections that are stuck in a version of you that, frankly, doesn't exist anymore. And that is not a failure. That's a sign of progress.
And this is another one of those critical reframes. People might see this change and think you're becoming cold or distant, but it's not about a lack of warmth at all. It's about a change in frequency. It's like you're vibrating at a different level now, and you need to find connections that match that new resonance.
So all of this, it leads to this really powerful act of self-preservation, consciously curating your social circle. It's about finally recognizing that your mental and your emotional energy, they're not infinite. They're precious resources. And just look at the benefits. When you stop wasting energy on interactions that just leave you feeling empty, you get all that energy back for what truly matters, for deep focus, for creativity, and for nurturing those few amazing connections that create a safe space for your biggest, wildest ideas. It's the ultimate example of quality over quantity.
This brings us to our final and maybe the most important idea of all, reframing what it actually means to be alone. So often we see it as a punishment, but for a superior mind, you know what solitude is? It's a playground. This definition right here is everything. Solitude isn't about emptiness. It's about fullness. It is the space where you can finally hear your own thoughts, where you connect the dots, and where you can have the most important conversation of all, the one with yourself.
So if you take anything away from this, remember this. Your choice to keep a small circle, it is not a weakness that needs to be fixed. It is a profound sign of self-respect. It's you making a statement that says, I value my energy, my peace, and my mind way too much to just share them with anyone.
So I want to leave you with this one last question to chew on. What if that preference for being alone, for having just a handful of really deep connections, what if it's not something you need to overcome at all? What if it's the very source of your creativity, your insight, and your greatest strength? Something to think about.